Okay. Yeah, so your stone is is brand new, so if you look at the color of yours, you basically have this Suhiro, which is a great stone, and it's basically the combination of these two, you know. Um,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah,
It's true.
so if you like that stone, then you go ahead and buy the separate. You could see pretty well actually with this camera angle, although this is not ideal. Anyway, yeah, the Suhiru are good, and I guess with stones, anything to remember. Japanese is good. You know, is usually good. Is the
Yeah.
best. So, um,
Yeah, there's some Amazon Japanese stuff though, which
no,
isn't,
don't just get all your stones from Dictum. Is my
yeah,
suggestion. And
my, yeah, mine is, yeah.
Dictum also has like sharpening guides that they'll send you for free if you go to their catalog section. Um, uh, yeah, you can order a catalog, and they'll send you the gardening tool catalog and everything. Unfortunately, but it's like, do I need gardening tools? I wish
You
I
have
had
to
it.
pay for that?
Huh?
You have to pay for that?
No. Those
You
the
have to pay
catalogs
for
are
it?
free usually. You can pay for the. But yeah, Dictum also maybe has a just yeah, do everything with Dictum. That's where I go. Don't do Cremona tools. I mean they have the same tools but more expensive. So um, if you have a new stone, obviously it's going to be perfectly flat. But these are not flat. So the first thing I need to do is kind of flatten this stone. You can see. I mean it looks flat, but it's not. So. And there are a few ways to do it. Right now it's pretty flat, so I can get away with using another stone. You know, so basically, let's say like a little while from now.
So you're using a more coarse stone to flatten a softer
Exactly.
stone.
And I don't know. You know, before I started, you could see that this was kind of dirty. And you can see that the stone, it's flattening here, and it's flattening here, you know, so and that means that because I was sharpening on this side most, this is higher, you know, so you can see, this is a really good example. So you see how dirty the stone is? Can you see? With rust.
Mm-hmm.
Now when I flatten on this side, it only rubs away here and here. That means it's not flat. And that's because when you're sharpening, you tend to use the middle of your stone, and you want to avoid that. That's actually the first rule, is to try to use the all of your stone. You know, and
Sure.
after a while, you really need to sort of just fully do it fully. Dictum actually sells a jig for this, but what I'm not going to do that now because this is pretty flat. But you can use this Wasserschleifpapier. You know, this sandpaper for
Yeah. Wet sandpaper.
yeah, wet sandpaper. It's for metal as well, and
Yeah, I
then
got it.
you can use
Got
it. Yeah, the best, I think I already told you, the best sandpaper is at this paint place on Margaretenstrasse, right down from Gerstner, actually. And they have, I
Get
can't,
that,
yeah, it's like, you know, you want to get 1,000. Actually, yeah, you can get, you don't want to use too rough, you know, but then you get a piece of glass is what I use. Like a thick piece of glass that's perfectly flat. You put your wet piece of sandpaper on it, and then you do the whole stone on this really larger surface, you know. So I'm missing one thing. What is it? I'm missing my gouge. Hold on.
Where do you get a thick piece of glass that is the size of a sanding stone?
Hold on a second. Yeah, that's a good question.
I'm just going to go to the thick piece of glass shop.
I don't know. You just have to channel your inner scavenger and find. I would prefer to find them on the street. You know. This is one gouge that it's probably a little bit different from the one that you have, but it's basically the same rule for.
It's a bit wider, yeah.
Yeah, it's a little bit wider, and it really needs to be worked over. So because this needs to be worked over a little bit more, I'm going to use this rough stone. And you can, okay, so this is a good lesson. What not to do. When you get to the, can you believe that this was once this? It's hard to believe, right? You can see that this is two pieces. One is a piece of wood. When your stone gets really, really thin, you can see this.
Oh, okay, that's wood.
Yeah.
Okay.
What you don't do is epoxy it to a piece of mahogany, because what happened is the mahogany swelled in the water and, you know.
Mm-hmm.
And
oh yeah.
Yeah, it's tragic because this was my favorite stone, and I would like to. And the reason you attach it to this is you not only can you use all of it, but you can use your Veritas sharpening guide, you know, the wheel for your chisels, and you can use a lot of pressure without cracking it. So that's rule number 2, is that it may be called a stone, but it's very fragile. Yeah, I mean, I have proof everywhere. You can't really see inside my stone bucket. This is just, I have a lot of old stones, and you want to keep your old pieces, because these are going to be your Abziehstein, you know. I don't know, I certainly don't know the English for this, Abziehen. Is it burnishing or?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I've thought about that. Like, I just look it up on Google, maybe. I don't know, but I think it may have a different. So let me just show you all my stones. This is from the goldsmith shop in, near the Stadtbibliothek, and there's nothing wrong with this stone. Actually, you can see the blue part used to be as thick as the red part. And you can see I've already gotten to the, so I use this to smooth my stones. This is from the goldsmith shop. Nothing wrong with it. Oh man, look, you need to go to the goldsmith shop because it's heaven. I mean, you'd be shocked at how many tools correlate.
I wanted to ask you, is it like a shop for goldsmith tools, or is it a goldsmith selling his old tools?
It's a shop for goldsmith tools. There are several. There are two. There used to be several of them. I think is it Westbahnstraße. If you go to Westbahnstraße and you walk along, there are all the camera shops, and then there you'll see like some goldsmiths, you know. And this is a cool thing because it goes back to Alt Wien, in Margareten used to be where all the piano makers were, and there were over 200 piano makers in Vienna in Beethoven's time. 200. Can you believe that? It's so cool. Imagine that. Imagine how cool Vienna must have been. So that area somehow became like technical, became old cameras and gold. So as you're walking down the Westbahnstraße towards the Stadtbibliothek, on your right hand side, you're going to see it's an old family business, and it's just goldsmithing tools. So when a goldsmith dies in Vienna, his tools go to that shop. You can go there, and they have new stuff. They have everything. They should have these stones. Yeah. So yeah, you get an idea. You save all your old stones because you can use these for something.
Okay.
But let's get to sharpening because I don't know how long this battery is going to last. Once again, the most unprofessional video on YouTube ever. Okay, so I'm starting with a rougher stone because this gouge really needs some love, you know. The other rule is when you're working, you may just not feel like sharpening, and you think, oh, I'm just gonna go ahead and finish my purfling or whatever I'm doing. Don't do that. Sharpen. You know, it only takes a few minutes to refreshen the edge on your stone, and you cannot work with dull tools. Number one, your work is not going to be clean. Number two, it's dangerous. It is dangerous to work with dull tools because you're not efficient. The tool can move quickly. It's not cutting. It's, you know.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, so that's rule number 2.
Okay.
So you have a new stone and you've soaked it for over 10 minutes, 20 minutes. You should be good to go. It's perfectly flat. The larger the tool, the flatter it needs to be because, you know, I mean, that's self-evident. So, okay, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to lay this down, and the way I do it is I kind of put my finger here to where I can feel where the gouge is making contact, right? And what you want to do is you want to sharpen the entire surface, you know. You want to sharpen all of it. And that's probably not going to be completely possible.
Mm-hmm.
And the way you can tell that is by looking at the steel. You see the line? Can you see the line that it's making? And you want to go into a Japanese Zen mode here.
So you're going sideways?
Yes, on this this is the way I do it. Other people may do different ways. And what I'm doing is I'm rotating it as mechanically, as smoothly as possible without any variation. And then I'm trying to do the whole surface. So if I tilt it more this way, right, it's going to do the tip faster, right? It'll actually feel very sharp. But it's going to stay sharp longer if you have the whole surface. Because what you're doing is you're creating a burr on both sides, right? Just now, the stone made a burr and pushing it this way. You see what I mean? So let's just
okay. Can you show me the movement? Are you like turning it from one side to the other? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, I'm sort of slowly tilting, you know. And I'm trying to
like a half. Yeah.
And ideally, it's a nice wide line, you know, the most surfaces possible.
So which grain is that? The stone?
This is, I believe, this is something like 800, you know.
Okay.
If you keep your tools really sharp, and you know, you should. So now this is basically, can you believe it? This was once this. This was once this thick. It's hard to believe. It's nuts. Like, that's how old these are. So now I'm gonna flip it over and abziehen. Yeah. This one really, this really needs some love. So I think it's pretty safe that I can do this.
I can't see that.
Okay, so
this is the top side. This is the top side.
Exactly. This is a good motion to do.
Oh yeah, I
Side
know.
by
So
side,
you're removing
very
that little
carefully.
bit so you're removing that little bit metal that you create while sharpening.
You're not removing
On top.
it, you're making it finer.
Yeah.
Each
okay,
time
yeah.
you do
I
it,
know
it's
what you
going to
mean.
be finer.
It's the same with Japanese kitchen knives.
This I don't know about, but anything Japanese and that has to do with sharpening generally is a good thing. Ah, okay. This is a good... before you do your Abziehen, you can just, every time, you just do a quick thing like this. And then... This is a good stone because it has... This is multiform, it's called. I think they have this at the goldsmith. I'm not sure. Because it has many sizes. And if you're using just... You're using a number 7 for what you're doing now, or the 7 scoop. What you can do is dedicate an old stone just for that. So you have this dialed into this, and that makes it pretty easy, you know. But let's just keep going. Let's just keep going.
I don't have an old stone. What can I do?
You can buy, hold on, this one from the goldsmith. This is pretty good. This is pretty good, actually, this round tool. Because then you can just, you know, roll it this way. Yeah, you get the concept. The concept is creating a burr. Okay, so now, this is not ready, but I'm going to... Actually, that's pretty sharp. Okay, so the way you test it is you carefully move your finger across it, not sideways. I don't know if you can see, but... Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, don't do it this way, because then you're gonna cut.
I thought I'd stick it in my belly and see if it works.
Yeah, if it cuts, if it's able to cut an Austrian belly, then you should be fine. Yeah. So now, same thing. My finer stone. I would actually spend more time on this, but I'm not actually using this tool right now, so I really do need to get back to this is just for your benefit, and because this one I noticed this one really needs some love. So you want to use your whole stone as much as you can. So what we're doing is pretty much an abbreviated version. I would go all the way across until this thing was just black. Then I would take a finer... you do have... What you have is this, Tom. The square that came with the Suhiro. Yeah? You can use that to make... for this shape. Yeah? So let's pretend that this is good, actually. Yeah, I've got so many of these because I've gone through so many Suhiro stones. Let's pretend that this is this stone comes with the Suhiro just for this purpose, for flattening the stone. So it's really good. The thing is that they never last as long as, you know, right? So you have that square stone that came with the Suhiro, so you're good to go.
Yeah.
All you need to do is take a really rough one, or I mean for that matter, metal sandpaper, and you need to how would I do this? Because this is not the ideal thing. Okay, let's just try it. You see you've got this sort of conical shape. Not conical, triangle. Yeah, so then I would take away the edge. Yeah? Now I have something that's slightly rounder. This is
Yes, I'm gonna.
and then
So I should take my square thing and make it round or something.
Yeah, yeah. And then maybe you could do this motion. And you could be a little bit more careful than I'm doing. Really stop and look at it. But yeah, you see how fast that went? Now, this is not ideal because this is like pointed. It'd be better as a square, right? And this is actually making the stone the shape of the gouge, believe it or not. Can you see? Right? Because it has no choice. Now, I may need to go back to the rough stone because that's not a very good thing to do to your gouge. So, but now I have something that's almost, let me see how. Yeah, I mean, you can use this for obsidian, you know, there's no problem. So that's good. But I just made this dull by doing that. So now I got to start over. And that's one thing you might find that when you're working, you do something and wrong, and you're like, holy crap, it's duller than I started. And you're just going to get frustrated. You'll be like, damn it, you know. But the good news is that you're going to go get a grinder from Lidl, or the most expensive one would be the Tormek. You can spend about maybe €1,000 at least, you know. And you can regrind this edge, because eventually, by doing so much by hand, it just kind of gets out of shape. You need to regrind it on the Tormek or on the whatever water, a slow moving water stone. You're not getting the ones that are high speed. This is for shaping tools, and the steel would get really hot, you know. So the stone spins, and any stone that spins mechanically inside water, they usually go really slow. And in the old days, they just, you know, obviously they had a pedal one that they. So yeah, that's okay. So that's super sharp again. All right. So that's the concept. I mean, that's pretty much it. So I take my rough, it's pretty sharp, then I do obsidian again. All right. It can go pretty fast. The reason it goes fast is because this was already pretty sharp, you know. The thing is, when you buy new tools, they're not sharp, and this is very frustrating to me, like, you know. Ah, but I should have enough battery to show you also the your thumb plane, you know. Let's do that, because I think you have this down. I mean, you're gonna practice. And what? Look, man, this file gouge cost you what? 15 euros, 18 euros?
25.
Inflation. Dope. Yeah, okay, so they used to be 15, now they're 25. So now this stone is the bomb. Okay, so if you want to look on YouTube, I didn't look on YouTube if they're sharp. I'm assuming there are a million sharpening videos, so I almost didn't even record this. But chances are there'll be, and you know, everyone does it different. If you really want to get more and more, you can. There's techniques with using leather, and that works really well. Jose does that. And then there's a technique where you take a block of wood, you gouge in, and you put in metal polishing paste. And this is just your final. It's already like kick-ass sharp. And then you use the paste. I've tried it, but for me, just those 3 stones works really well. You know, if your technique is good. But let's move on to the thumb plane blade, because that's a little more difficult. Okay, so I have a new blade. Actually, this one is new. My old Veritas blade I had to replace. I think it lasted around 8 to 10 years, that blade. Again, resurface your stone every single time. Okay, you start with the flat side. You can see there's a bevel. This is called bevel up. Okay, on these kind of tools you have bevel up and bevel down. This is a bevel up because this is bevel down. Don't, because it goes into the plane this way. But anyway, you start with the. So you have a brand new blade. Let's pretend that this is a brand new blade. This is going to work really well for you. You have a brand new blade and you have a brand new stone. You're going to see it's going to get so sharp with the Suhiro. Same thing. So with this you can go. I start going sideways.
Yeah, I was.
And you can also. I'm usually sitting down. You can't see.
Is this a curved one?
What?
Is this a curved one or a flat one?
What do you mean? The blade is curved. You're cutting a scoop.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
yeah. Your plane. The bottom of your plane is curved. So the blade has to be curved. Yeah, this is the one you use for for tuning your plates. You use it for everything. I also do this movement to where I'm either standing or sitting. I'm standing now, and I have sort of at a diagonal. This is one move that I do. Yeah.
So it's just flat on the stone?
Yeah, you're trying to make this perfectly flat. In fact, not only are you trying to make it perfectly flat, you're trying to make it to see your reflection in it. You want it just polished. You're going to takes a lot of time when because your blade is new, and get it just as sharp as you possibly can. And it will stay sharp longer, so you'll have to sharpen less. And obviously, it's going to cut wood better, and it's just going to make your life easy, So, yeah. So when you're doing this, what you're looking for. Yeah, so stop all the time and resurface your stones if you're in doubt. This stone is not perfectly flat, I can tell you that right now. What you're looking for is this nice, you see that line?
Mm-hmm.
The line of the steel is here and not down here. You want that, so it's doing the tip of the blade. And the way you can you want to do basically you want to do the whole blade. The Hungarian maker Karol that I trained under. The first time I saw him sharpen, he put the blade on. I was doing this. I was going. These little movements. And he's like, "Oh, this needs sharpening," and he took it and he just went like this, And I was like, "Oh, wow, you can do that?" And he's like, "Yeah, you can do that." In the beginning, and then you're doing the whole blade because you want to keep this blade forever. If you just sharpen here, actually I don't know if you can see, but this will start to get thinner here. And be fatter here. It's inevitable, So then you move more towards this part of the stone, and this ideally, you see I have It's making a shape. It's making all of it is black, and what you want is it makes this nice clean line, you know. And that means that it's pushing the burr, you know, this way. So then you switch to the finer. Oh, that's not flat. Same thing. Take your time. You can do this for a long time. I'd say go ahead.
So this is just the angle of the tip, just the tip.
No. This is the flat part of your blade. You're making it flat. That's all you're doing. I haven't even started the other side yet. That's where you're going to be in a world of pain.
Okay, so you're just making it flat.
Just making your flat side flat. Spend a long time on it.
Okay.
This actually, we haven't been doing this very long, but I can tell you now that it could be sharper. It's pretty damn sharp. Okay, so now once again resurface. Yeah, I really need to spend some time with this stone. It's on its last leg. I feel really sorry for it. I need to epoxy it to a piece of plastic or something. Yeah, I don't know. Okay, so now I'm flipping it over, yeah? I'm doing the bevel. Just breathe you want to make sure this is completely level, not tilted. You see how it's on this rag and a little tilty? Put your head down at the level of the bevel so you can kind of see it, and you want to drag it slowly. Actually, the smoother your movement, the better. And again, you're trying, just like with the gouge, you're trying to do the whole surface. I'm not doing a very good job of this. Oh, doch. It's actually quite sharp. So I'd say do a few more passes. Yeah. Resurface. Flip it. Flip the blade. Same thing. Now you're doing the flat side. Right? Okay. Flip it again. Careful. Really just, you're not putting a lot of pressure. You're not like pushing it in. You're just very, very gracefully. It's actually hard. This is still hard for me to this day, and I've done it many times. But this is getting nice and sharp. I can just feel it in my bones. Yeah, so your blade shouldn't have any more factory marks on it. You know, it may have some, if your blade is brand new, it may, you know, have some, both sides should be like mirror. There's probably hopefully there's you can look on YouTube. I don't know if anyone makes a video on this. If they do, and they do a better one, I would be very, very happy to watch it. But this method has worked for me. So yeah, it's time. Make sure your stone is flat. Go through both stone. The Suhiro is gonna get your blade pretty sharp. Yeah, that is getting nice. This. Actually, the sunlight is kind of shining in my face right now. That's to be avoided. Yeah, and you really can't talk to someone while you're doing this either. You really need to focus. This is pretty damn sharp. It's not quite scary sharp, as they say, but that is... here's another thing, and I would love to know this, is your blade always is going to feel sharper when your hands are wet, and I don't know why. So what you need to do is, before you use it, let it all dry out and let your hands dry out, and then do the test.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, it's probably
if you can
because your
find
skin
this
is
out,
soft. You know?
if you can find out why, I don't know, I've never tried to Google it, but why do
Probably
things
because your
feel...
skin is softer, you know?
Huh?
Because your skin is softer, I guess, when you have wet
Yeah.
hands.
Okay, well, you interrupted me. I was going to say, if you can find out, I'll buy you a case of Gambrinus. Okay, so
Well-
now you see I'm doing this one, you're flat. It's the same concept. With the flat, this is a flat bottom plain blade, which you have in your tool list. This is a little different from the curve. I'm putting my pressure on my finger here. So the bevel is perfectly flat against the stone.
Sure,
And then
yeah.
I'm just doing short little sliding motions.
Mm-hmm. Don't forget to use the whole stone.
Yeah, genau. Use the whole stone. Some of us are really guilty of that. Yeah, so this is bang on already, this one. So yeah, I mean the battery's gonna die, but that's perfect. We're done, and I would say go ahead and do your when we hang up, we'll go ahead and do your curved blade one. And actually, let's just stop the YouTube video, and I'll guide you in person in case you screw up, because Veritas planes are expensive, you know, and yeah. I mean, the good thing is that anything can be reground, anything can be fixed, you know.
I got an Ibex and a CHE.
Yeah, you can do almost everything with that. Cool. So